Well, congratulations are in order because apparently Chris Smalls was actually able to pull it off. No one really thought, for a lot of people probably, he was actually going to be able to do it, but he did. And bad on my part that I wasn't able to cover this story earlier. Believe it or not, this actually has slipped under my radar until here pretty recently, believe it or not. And working class stuff is one of the things that I feel very strongly about. And obviously Amazon being one of the bigger issues that we've got as far as working conditions go in the United States today. You obviously had the stories that came out about the drivers who were having to pee and, poop in bottles and stuff like that. It was just ridiculous expectations. I actually personally encountered a lady at one of the sites where I have worked at in the past. Actually, pretty recently, by the way. She was trying to deliver a package, and the area where she would need to deliver the packages to for the plant, they're only open during a certain time of day, and they're adamant no one else is to take packages because this is like their mail center basically. It's their delivery area for mail packages. And they have to be delivered during this time of day. Well, she showed up pretty late at night. And now maybe she was lying to me about what I'm about to tell you, but I believe her based on the stories that we've heard about people like and companies like Amazon before. The things that have come out, I believe what she told me. But, of course, I'm explaining to her, I'm like, ma'am, they're closed and they're not going to be open again until tomorrow. And she's like, well, can you take it? I'm like, I can't. They're strict. It has to go through the proper hands, and I don't work in that department. If I touch that, there's going to be a big problem brought to me tomorrow because I'm not supposed to take anything. The only people supposed to take packages work in there, and they leave after 5 p.m. I was like, maybe, if you take it back and redeliver it tomorrow, I don't know if y'all have anything you can do like that. And this is what she told me in response. She said, we can, but we get wrote up. We get written up. Bad grammar there the first time. We get written up if we do that. Now, I can understand if you don't get something delivered to a residential address. But to a business, that's a little different. Because they could have something where they won't accept packages past a certain time of day. And that's not your fault. You tried to deliver it. You didn't know they don't deliver or won't accept deliveries past a certain time. How are you supposed to know that exactly? See, in truck driving, and my buddy Reed Coverdale can appreciate this, normally a dispatcher or someone is capable of kind of letting you know, hey, they don't accept deliveries past this time of night. Now, Reed can also attest, dispatchers probably don't always relay the best information sometimes. I know enough truck drivers to know that as well. But the thing of it is, no one told her that. She didn't know. Should she be written up because it's the company's policy they won't accept a delivery and she's there and trying to deliver it? I don't think she should be written up for that, but that's the kind of environment we're dealing with. That's the kind of people were doing. We're also talking about a group of people who were putting like shock bracelets on people that you're supposed to go through a certain area at your position, and if you deviate from it, they put these little devices on you that would shock you. Everybody remember hearing about that? So you're dealing with people who do things like that. So Chris Smalls starts organizing this strike. They held the election. Of course, Amazon, you heard about the things they did in Bessemer, Alabama. Already shady enough. They failed to get it through in Bessemer, Alabama. It turns out, they were actually doing some things that were illegal going into the Alabama election for a union. And turns out, apparently there has been a new election that has been ordered for that because of the shenanigans that Amazon was pulling. So, case in point, they are hell-bent to not allow these unions and not allow their profits to be tampered with. As if that jackass right there doesn't already own enough billions of dollars. But he has a massive problem with workers coming together to get better conditions for themselves. And ultimately, how much is it really going to cost him? How much would it really cost him for his workers to get better conditions? Is he going to go broke from that? Absolutely not. So Chris Smalls organizes this thing, and he gets the election rolling, and they won. They won. Okay? And kudos to them. Now, New York has a history. It's been more favorable to unions, unlike Alabama, for example. But there are a lot of people that didn't think Chris Smalls was going to pull it off, but he did. And again, 100% congratulations, kudos to him. This is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, that being said, there's a lot of people, prominent voices, who could have been saying something this entire time and haven't. Now, unfortunately, as I said, I should have been talking about this long before now myself. I didn't even find out about the whole Chris Smalls thing until probably about a month or so ago. And so I'm really late to the train to catch up to what's been going on. Last year's been kind of a crazy year for me between trying to get everything set up, getting the studio set up towards late last year. So been a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not going to make excuses. It's something that should have gotten on my radar before now, and I should have talked about it before now. But at the same time, I can make these videos. You can look at the size of my channel and figure this out for yourself. The Lone Wolf Podcast is not the go-to platform for promotion of stuff. I'm growing, but I'm not the major voice that's going to enlighten a bunch of folks yet either. So me congratulating after the fact, at least in my opinion, doesn't have as much of a bad irony as someone like AOC. Because AOC was aware of what was going on here. This squad mascot knew what was going on, was supposed to be at one of their events, and bailed on them. And I mean, just crickets. Bernie Sanders, I think, is another one that's done this now too, right? I mean, I don't remember. Maybe Bernie did talk about this before, but I don't remember hearing about it. If he did, congrats. But AOC definitely left them hanging high and dry, something that Chris Smalls himself has backed up since. And now that they've won, AOC wants to come out here and lead the parade. Absolutely hypocritical. Like, where were you when they needed voices like you for their battle? You were nowhere to be found when the war was there to be fought. You want to show up and enjoy in the spoils. Well, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's very disingenuous. And quite frankly, it's typical of these people like the squad AOC types. They talk a big game. They never fight to get any of these so-called progressive agendas that they ran on to get passed. They don't fight for any of it. They all the time talk a big game, and they wind up kowtowing and bending over for Nancy Pelosi and the Democrat establishment. They don't fight for anything. They're never going to put up a fight for it either. But if something happens at the grassroots level, if something happens amongst the people that starts to push something in the right direction, that these progressive things start to happen outside of legislation, the same people who want fight for these things on their end start cheerleading around about how great these victories are when the people get it done. And they had not one damn thing to do with it. Well, that's 100% hypocritical. That is AOC trying to build up her star power and build up her celebrity and being a typical crooked politician. And I don't care what anyone like Kyle Kulinski says about what the definition of corrupt is. Corrupt is anything you do to further yourself and feather your nest. That's what corrupt is, and she is without a doubt definitely doing that. There is no question about it. But speaking of AOC and Kyle Kulinski, Kyle Kulinski's co-host for the last year plus and his new blushing girlfriend, Crystal Ball, decided that she was finally done with AOC's bullshit, and she decided to go after her on Twitter about it. Maybe you've heard a little bit about it. So you know what? Hey, I will give credit where credit is due here. All jokes aside, personal feelings or whatever aside about the other things Crystal Ball supports, all that aside, she has given Chris Smalls a platform to talk about what he's doing. She has brought him on Breaking Points. This has been something that they've talked about. So kudos, Crystal Ball. I'll give credit where credit is due. And she's absolutely right for calling out AOC about this stuff. But here's the problem. Like, are y'all really this late? Did you really show up this late to everything, Crystal? Like, when are you and Kyle going to wake up, smell the coffee, and have a cup? Okay? Like, at this point, it's been very, very, very obvious just how terrible this squad is and how they are not fighting. And people like Kyle are to the point now that they're talking about it. They're acknowledging their failures. They're acknowledging that they aren't doing anything. But then again, Kyle Kulinski has been nicknamed Kyle Kuklinski, so what the fuck, dude? In a lot of ways, you're kind of doing the same thing. Because no matter how much the Democrat establishment keeps screwing over their voters, he's going to tell you to go out and vote for him at this point, basically. Even if he doesn't go do it himself, he might not directly tell you to go out, but he's always pitching this lesser of two evils mentality and this notion of reforming the corrupt Democrat cesspool of a party. It's like, how do you think that's going to work, man? I mean, look, this is the kind of stuff that is going to have to start happening to make changes. It's something that Steve Poikonen, Slow News Day, has been talking about for a long time. The Convo Couch has been talking about it. Frank Analysis, Nico House, all these guys have been talking about it. It's going to have to start happening from the people taking action. That's how we're actually going to start getting changes done in this country. We are in a mess right now that you will not be able to vote your way out of. And I don't care if you're strategically talking about going about it third party or if your idea is to go about it by reforming one of the two swamps. I don't care, but you will not vote your way out of it because that process is just too flawed. And I've come to my realization on that as well. It's just not going to work. It's been an argument that's been made for a very long time, and I've come around to it. Now, if people want to hear why I'm taking that stance now, drop them in the comment box down below. I'll be happy to make a video explaining that. I don't want to take up too much time in this video to go into it, but if people are curious why I'm not so pro third party anymore, and I'm still for voting third party, I'm not going to tell you not to. But I just don't see it fixing the problem at this point anymore. I think we are too far over that hill where voting is going to fix everything. Now, maybe a little bit of the people taking action and trying to vote the duopoly out of power together can't hurt. But there's definitely got to be action taking place at the people level because at this point, we need revolution. No revolution is successful without the people taking action. And I don't mean take to the streets and burn down the town. I'm not talking about that. I'm not calling for that. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about are the people taking genuine action like this. Unionize. Push back against the corporation. Because right now what you have is one of the worst forms of fascism out there. It is a marriage made in hell between a very corrupt government and the rich corporations, DOD, Big Pharma, companies like Amazon, Walmart, and others, and it is a marriage made in hell, and nothing good will come from it. And all these fraudulent grifters, like the squad, the fraud squad, as they were once called, getting out there to cheerlead over this guy succeeding when she couldn't be bothered to show up because she's touting security risks, yet she went to the Met Gala right before. She's saying security risks, but she's going on vacation maskless while she's pushing all the COVID shit maskless down in Florida. You can do all that. Matter of fact, you went on vacation to a Republican state. AOC, if you're that afraid, why didn't you go to one of your blue heavens that you love so much where the Democrats control everything? Why'd you go to a Republican state? Matter of fact, I believe Democrats control California. They got coasts. They got beaches. Why in the fuck didn't you go to California? Why'd you go to Ron DeSantis's territory if you're getting all these death threats? Because I can go ahead and tell you right now, Republicans are no fan of yours. So if you're concerned for your life, why'd you pick that place? Makes no sense. Sounds like a big excuse. Just like the big excuse she gave Crystal Ball about that Amazon warehouse not being in her district. Well, there's a lot of people who commute to that warehouse who are in your district. So they would be your constituents. So you should be doing something for them, but you're a fraud. And instead of Crystal Ball engaging in arguments on Twitter about it, it's probably high time they just actually truly start calling out these fraudulent actors that call themselves progressive Democrats for what they truly are. Self-absorbed, narcissist egotists who only care about their position in politics and staying there. AOC is the person that said you can do great things and have a meaningful career in politics even if you just serve one term. She's the person that said it's fine to serve one term as long as you fight for the things you need to, and yet all she does to remain in past one term is bow down one time after another to what the corporate Democrats ultimately want. She's done it on numerous occasions. Numerous occasions. She is a complete fraud. But again, congratulations, and you can best believe that the corporations are going to start taking notice of this. They already are, in fact, because now this Amazon worker app that's in development are starting to ban words from being used, which in my opinion should be illegal. I don't think they should be allowed to do this, but apparently they are, and they're going to. And they're banning words now such as unionization, even words like freedom and slave wages and stuff like that, all being banned supposedly from being used on this app. That's what Amazon's up to. That's what that rich jackass is up to, and everyone should be taking complete notice of this. And the people need to start pushing back because this is the kind of stuff that's going to start getting us some real change. But let me know what you guys think. What do you feel? What do you feel is the best option here? Do you think we really should be continuing to just fight this third-party battle, trying to squeeze someone into the White House? Do you think maybe it should be something focused more at the state level? Do you think the people taking action are the solutions that's going to bring about change for real in this country? Or do you think maybe we need to focus on a little bit of both? How do you feel about the union for Amazon in New York? What do you think about people like AOC jumping out there to cheerlead and lead the parade now? What do you think about all that stuff? Let me know in the comment box down below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up to help the video out. If you just found the channel, you like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help us out and grow. And if you do, make sure you ring the bell. If you don't, you'll never know when I'm uploading videos, and you'll just be in the dark to the future videos coming out. But appreciate everyone watching. Hope you're all doing well. We'll see you next time on the Lone Wolf Podcast. Take care, everyone.